All right. Greetings, lovelies.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, welcome to Adult Conversations with the Jessies. My name is Caleb Jesse,
I'm Katunga Jessie.
and we are in a very interesting century, I might say, considering the fact that relationships and everything that involves couples is very, very complicated. And we decided, you know what, we've never done a podcast before. And we're not experts in some of these conversations that we are going to be having in this podcast. But the essence of this podcast is to be able to share some of our life experiences as a couple and also some individual experiences outside of being a couple and being able to build together what we already have right now and also build ourselves individually as well. And yeah, let's just dive right into it.
So we hope really that by us having our conversations, you as the listener can also have conversations of your own. And the whole essence is to, I guess, swim against the tide in a very negatively charged environment where relationships are concerned. The myth is that relationships don't work, is that marriages don't work, is that being an adult is so hard. And the reason why I call it myths is because I feel like there's a way around it. I feel that there are ways we can begin to develop new approaches to how we deal with our lives as adults, how we deal with our lives as couples and people in relationships, relational beings. I guess that's the word. Um, So as we converse and you guys engage, then we can work our way to find the truth against the myths. Because if our ancestors did it, surely there has got to be a way to hack this. So we're going to talk about motivations.
Mm. The motivations ni mingi lakini
All right, let me be clear. Okay, let me be clear. Okay, motivations in terms of what motivates you toward relationship, the relationship that you're in or the relationship that you hope to be in. What is the motivation? What is the underlying reason why you want to be in it? Do you want to be in it because it's the thing that's expected of you? Do you want to be in it because it's the thing, it's the thing to do as a grown up, as an adult? Are you in it because you want to have the status of I'm in a relationship? Are you in it, for other personal reasons? Are you in it because you want someone you can share a bed with? Are you in it because, there's just so many reasons. Are you in it because someone said you have to be like your mom or your dad? Like, is it
is it
pressure?
in-laws?
Is it pressure from society? Is it pressure from your family? Is it pressure from your friends? Or is it a chick thing a lot more than a guy thing? Does that happen to you guys?
Yes, it does happen to
What?
us guys.
Really?
Yes, it does happen. And most intensely when you go for events, for example, and then you're seeing your boys there with their mamas, and you're like, hey, that must be a nice life. So you're basically the outcast. So you have to go like start hunting and all so and so forth, and then they probably want to try and hook you up with some chick you've never met, and you don't feel like you're clicking, and maybe it's just me, but organic clicks click better than broiler clicks. Zile imewekwa madawa ati ndio ianze kujaminate.
What an analogy, but yeah, it makes sense, I guess. So let's talk about motivations then. Why are we getting into relationships? Let's start with you. Caleb, what was your motivation? Okay, think about several motivations prior to this relationship. What were some of your motivations then? And then getting into this relationship now, what was the motivation there?
Wow, good question. So, so human beings are bound to evolve rather, and in the in true fashion, self development is also something that I take very very seriously. So, what motivated me to get into a relationship when I was younger, was different from what motivated to get into this relationship now. My ability to become an entrepreneur. You actually don't know this, but I was like, okay, so now I'm in the space whereby I want to become an entrepreneur and start my own business. Back then, it's a baby, right? And so I was like, man, I studied here, all these motivational talks out here of, when you have a woman, she sets you in line and all these things, and she'll set you straight, and you just success will just itakuja tu baze, itakam. Hey, truth be told, it did not happen that way. Yeah, that relationship was, dare I say it, shit. Because the part of what I see now of a relationship is that your goals may not align, but support is really important. I didn't feel like I had the support I needed in that relationship. And also, I felt like because of the one thing that was a really big challenge in that relationship was the fact that there were a lot of assumptions about me. Same, I'm a humble beginner, just like every other human being. You start small, you scale, you scale, you scale, and generally that's how it is. Just because I am this type of person, I look like this type of person. She thought I was hiding a part of me, I was suppressing it, and I was not bringing it out. And I was like, yo, I mean, this is authentically me. I don't see any difference with who I am, but your perspective of me is really is intense.
What was
It's
her perspective?
well, I was some rich kid from a very royal family, and I was just hiding in plain sight, and I didn't really
Trying to
want to
pretend
do.
that you're not
Yeah, yeah,
rich,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
disowning
yeah.
your
Just trying
family's
to
wealth.
downplay myself and all these things. I'm like, no, that I was generally just a normal guy. Smart as hell, I'd give her big dreams, a million dreams that keep me awake. But in the awakening of things, she really thought this guy really had some things going on. And I'm like, no, that was not it. That was not it. So that was exhausting.
So the motivation before now was that if you get into a relationship, then your business will
Yeah,
thrive.
yeah.
All right. Were there any relationships prior to the one that you've referenced just now?
Yeah, so many. But it wasn't
What were
like, I
those
think that,
motivations? Was it
wow.
still the same? And I think that's what we're looking for.
Yeah,
Were there
yeah, yeah,
different
yeah, yeah, yeah,
motivations
yeah,
at
yeah.
different
Was the
stages?
different
It can't
motivation?
just be.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well, to be honest, for a while, as far as I can remember, that's always been what has been at the back of my mind. Is that, it also brings me back to my upbringing. That because what I saw emulated is what I also was projecting outside in the universe. And so for a long time, it has been, you find a good wife, you find a good day. And for me, that was just it. That was just it. And so that has had always been my, as I became older, that had always been my motivation. It never changed. It differed from time to time, but that was actually the main fundamental aspect about,
the fundamental.
yeah, the fundamental part of being in a relationship, amongst other things. right? But that was the core. I think that was the real core bit about why I really wanted to get into a relationship.
Okay. And did any of that change now coming into this particular relationship? From those relationships building up to now here where you decided you're getting into this relationship, like what was that like? What was that transition like?
Because I was setting myself up with the expectation from this person to give me the motivation I needed to become successful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people, you shouldn't have expectations of people. And I realized because of that, it really changed how I viewed this relationship that I'm in right now. The toward even greater commitment, not just a relationship, but marriage. It I had to make a decision that I am not going to be motivated by someone. Does that mean that I am not also motivated when it comes to doing my stuff? Because in the line of work I'm in, or rather
Mm.
as an entrepreneur, it's very difficult. It gets to be very difficult sometimes because you have to really manage. Most of the time you're just thinking through how to build. The fact that I had to change my narrative and also understand this other person that I'm going to be in a relationship with, I really have to be honest with her and tell her, you know what? Mi bedhee, mi nakutaka na nataka ukue wangu forever. Lakini sasa unajua sasa ukiwa challenge tutafanya aje? Unaona? Tutafanya aje?
Okay, but you mentioned that
Mm.
then there was a shift in the motivation, and you realize you're responsible for your success. Fine. But then what motivated you? What was the new motivation to get into a relationship? Because if you are getting into a relationship for the potential success it could help you build,
Mm.
but then that has changed, then logically, in simple logic, then if a person is not going to help me succeed, then I might as well just succeed on my own. Why still go back into a relationship? You get what I mean?
Mm.
So, what is the new or the fresh or the what was the new outlook then that made you say, okay, we're getting back in, but now this is how we're gonna do it?
So we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So there's power in energy, right?
Energy. Mm,
Mm.
mm,
And it's not just it's when you have two people vibrating at a very high level, you really get to explore your full potential in that sense. And so I was like, because it takes two to tango
dum, dum, dum,
and to
dum,
become
dum,
experts
dum, dum.
in a field, right?
Mm,
I knew that I self development is something that definitely requires another person to give you an output for or of.
mhm,
And being able to come into the relationship with that mindset was like you're no longer just building something as a unit, but the vibrations cause both of you to develop in different ways with which otherwise wouldn't have happened, right? And so
mhm,
me, I was okay. I my self development requires another level, right?
mhm,
And the another level means that someone has to challenge me
mhm,
in a way that is not um um to challenge me in a way that is not negative, but to challenge how I do things, change things, becoming a better person. And it's
mhm,
not sometimes doing it individually, it's fine, it's okay.
mhm.
But always there's the output from that person who you see, you've known yourself for such a long time, but there are aspects of you wouldn't know if someone doesn't tell you. Understand?
Yeah.
And I was like, my subconscious was telling me there's a part of you that requires a different level of development. And it's not just taking upon yourself different responsibilities to be a man and all that. There's development, there's like a samurai. For a samurai to have a sword that is so sharp requires the sword to be put in fire and for him to constantly go at it. Now that's what I was like. I was like, either I'm the sword or you're the sword. Someone is a sword somewhere.
But sharpening is happening.
But sharpening is happening. Somebody got to sharpen the other person. And I was like, that's part of why I was like, I need someone to really someone give me the truth and not come from a very, what would you call it? Not come from a very uh, eagle's eye point of view. Like, this person is really close to you. They understand you more than you understand yourself. Giving you the level of positive criticism that you require, that you can only take feedback from. Very few people can take feedback from. And this person's giving you feedback not because they want to stifle you or some shit like that. And yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there.
So the motivation then became to have somebody help basically work with you. I like that, the idea that someone is like really close, like they're in your space kind of thing. So it's like someone who can see you, let me say, on the micro level and kind of, what's that thing called? It's called a whetstone, actually. The stone where they sharpen on. Yeah.
It's a really it's a fine stone, by the way. I think
it's so
it's really smooth.
Yeah, the grit is so mini had it smooth.
So what was your motivation for this one? Marriage, not just a relationship. I think marriage and a relationship, a bit of both. And also, what had motivated you from your previous relationship, and also what demotivated you, what deactivated you from that other relationship. Tell me about that.
Okay, so just for context, I grew up in a home where marriage was valued very strongly. I also grew up in a context where it's almost like as if that was the goal of being female.
Yeah.
When you grow up, you're gonna get married and have children. Then you talk about, no, I wanna pursue one, two, three, four, and someone is like, yeah, but you need to get married, right? But you still, as in every context, the question is, the moment you think about pursuing a career, the moment you think about, pursuing your dreams, there's always that question. So when are you going to have children? But where do children fit in? But where does a husband? So the entire my entire worldview was shaped by, once you become a grown woman, marriage is not an option. It is expected.
Oh my God.
It's expected. And a lot of people, and even to this day, there's still so much pressure on single people to get married. Then you get married, even before you're off on your honeymoon, people are already counting for you the children. Exactly. So
baby number one.
So these are the things that I think riddle a lot of us when we're growing up. But for me, I grew up with really good, strong examples of marriages. And so for me, I actually admired it. And I thought, oh, this would be so, so cool to have your own personal person that you can do all sorts of things with, And I look at my parents' relationship, and they still do have a really good and healthy and interesting relationship. They still stay up all odd hours of the night, yapping, as in literally, they're just chatting about nothing and anything. Like they're such buddies.
Yeah.
And I think for me, growing up, seeing that made me realize that actually, for me, it was a positive. It was a very, very positive picture that was painted for me as a child. So my motivation throughout my life was you're in a relation, you're getting into a relationship so that you can get married. And it wasn't because of pressure or society. It was a personal desire. Like I want to be in a relationship so that I can get married, so that I can have my personal person, so that we can do things together. You know, that's like for me, it was a whole adventure. It was me and him, and
Against
probably
the
our
world.
yeah, and probably kids trailing along in the background. But really, it was really just us. So mm, what would happen is that because of the model that I received of a good and healthy marriage, my expectation for relationship is that that's where it's gonna go. So then you get into a relationship with someone and they're kind of trying to see what's gonna happen here. You know what I mean? They're guessing their way through this. They're we're not their mind is not on the long term at all.
Yeah.
It is on the moment, you
Yeah.
know. And I guess since you mentioned that about how guys sometimes will have the pressure to be in a relationship because they're seeing their homies in relationships as well. So they also want to have that person. So it's like I think that was what would deflate, because then you can't really uh, I'm the kind of person who, by the way, we will fight right now, like a heavy one. And
Fine.
Aki, I will still serve you a plate of food. I'm just like, nigga's gotta eat, man. I mean, what? She's gonna die because I'm angry? No.
Ama talala inje. Talala inje.
To me, I was not raised that way.
Yeah.
I have, my dad is someone I truly admire, not because he's my dad, but the values that he lives by and the
Yeah.
way he's modeled them.
Yeah.
And I really, it's so aspirational. Like those ones are like, when I grow up, I want to be like my dad, kind of thing. And so in that context, one of the crucial life lessons that he taught me is that even when you are upset, every human being was born and given at the point of birth, they were given something called dignity. And no matter how hard it gets, and no matter how difficult a conversation you have to have with somebody, do not touch their dignity. What does that mean? That means that I can be very angry with you, but I will not call you a name, because that strips away at your dignity.
Fire, baby. Yeah. Yeah.
It strips away at your dignity. I can argue with you and I can be very upset with you, but I will not talk about your business.
Yeah.
Because that is something you're working hard to build.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
shreds at your dignity. I mean, if you think about cat's claws or a tiger's claws, every time you touch someone's dignity, you shred, you take a piece of them with you. So essentially, every time you touch a person on a personal level negatively, you're clawing at them, you're shredding their dignity. And you will find, for example, there are people who have gotten upset with you, and I'm gonna talk about how I feel about you and my opinion about you and your people and your children and your ancestors and your
Then it
and
becomes a you thing. It is
it be
you.
and it's not just about it's a you thing. There's also that element of, you see, the more you're talking about all these other things, you're actually not addressing the issue. And that was the whole point, is that if you're upset with someone, address the issue, don't address
Don't
them.
address the person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, I am pissed off at you because of one, two, and three.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't appreciate 4, 5, and 6. And when 7 was happening, 9, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, talk about the issue.
Yeah.
Right? That way, you give the person a chance to see the part that they played. Because you haven't touched on them, you focus solely on the issue, which is where the problem is, right? Maybe this person has a habit or a tendency.
Yeah.
First, deal with the issue.
Yeah.
Because once that problem is solved, you can come back later and say, you know, usually this thing, it's not the first time it's happened. And I think maybe we need to address a habit here. Again, it's not the person you're addressing. It's a thing that they are doing. Yeah, or a thing that they said.
Yeah.
And so it's important to separate the issue from the person who's brought the issue on the table. And so that's the lesson that I carry with me throughout life. And I try as much as possible not to shred away at someone's dignity when I'm upset with them. I'm the kind of person, in fact, when I'm upset, I will shut my mouth. I will be quiet.
Quiet.
I will not speak about it. I will not speak about the issue, and I will not speak about my feelings about the issue, because at the moment when I'm upset, it's intense. So I need to get a hold of my emotions and, like, rein them back into a sense of, okay, let's have a rational thought crossing through here. Because when you're emotional, all the negatives come. You know what I mean? Like, I'll call him names in my head. I'm gonna cuss him out. I'm gonna cuss his shoe. I'm gonna cuss his shirt. I'm gonna, you know what I mean? I'm gonna do stuff in my mind. You know what I mean? That's my mind roiling because of emotion.
Yeah.
But once that roiling calms down and the ocean calms down, then I have to stop and say, okay, so what set us off again in the first place? Because sometimes we get so carried away in our emotions, don't we? I get so carried away, but you upset me. And then the moment I open my mouth when I'm upset, there's no telling where that ship is going to sail. Like, it's just like, it's just, there's just no telling how it's going to go. So because I cannot tell how it's going to go, I'd rather not start. Because at the end of the day, I also tell myself, I really like this guy. I really like him. I like him so much. And I don't want to not like him. But if I let my emotions go, I can end up not liking him. Because again, like you said, you don't know how the other person is going to react. You don't know how they're going to shut that comment. I mean, you might have started this shit, but I'm ending this shit right here, right now. You know what I mean? So because you don't know how someone is going to respond in a moment of intensity, you need to tread lightly, I think is the word. So for me, the motivation has always been to have a long-term relationship, based on the values that I saw demonstrated, and it still really is. I mean, it's what gets me out of bed. You know, the possibility that today we're building something new, the possibility that we're going to discover something new, the possibility that something interesting would happen. And another thing I think that motivates me. I feel that, okay, again, because of the relationships that didn't work, my motivation for being in that relationship always turned out different. But as a result, I didn't feel seen and I didn't feel, and I felt like a placeholder or a trophy or just another notch in somebody's belt. You know what I mean? Like, there's no real value to my being in someone's life. They can live without me. You know what I mean? And I'm like, if you can live without me, then please do live without me. I think we'd be better off. You know what I mean? But then now in this situation, I think my motivation was, okay, fine. Yes, I want to be in a relationship. Definitely want to get married. But more importantly is I need to be seen. And that became a very important thing to me. I need to be seen, because when I'm seen, then I will be heard. My opinion, my perspective will matter, whether it's contrary or not. I can be myself, and it doesn't matter what shape or form that takes in any given day. You know, I am female, so this week is a good week, and next week might not be a very good week.
Yeah.
And this is the cycle of being female. And I, just a personal side note, I just think we need to stop looking down on that. That is the normal, natural. I mean, even look at animals; they go through the same thing. So it's just part of being female. And once you understand that groove with your specific person, because there's no one size fits all, then you find a way to work around. You find a way to relate healthily, even in those not so good weeks. So yeah, that's those are my motivations. And I'm sure there are very many motivations out there. So please, please, please keep sharing. Let's keep this conversation going. It matters. We really need to hack this adulting thing. We personally don't think it's
Yeah.
a lie.
Yeah.
It's very challenging.
What they said about it definitely was a lie. I mean, some aspects of thought
Yeah.
and all, but um, some of it is not.
um. So yeah. So that's my motivational story.
Yes, enough has been said. Stay tuned, bro, for the next episode. It's going to be fire, baby. Yeah, until the next one. Peace.